Welcome to your donut, you eat it. I'm your host, Sean. So tonight, as I was watching my usual podcasts or stuff on YouTube, I noticed that on my big screen television in the front room, that since I can't use the Chrome browser and use my favorite ad blocker, I have to watch ads. And it's interesting that the new platforms like YouTube, Rumble, the streaming services, they're all going commercial because TV's dying, basically. But what was really telling today is that I saw local political ads for the state of New Mexico for the gubernatorial race, that is, specifically. Why that is hilarious to me is that both sides now realize where their audience is. It isn't in between the news cycles of KOAT or KOB, which are local radio stations. Or not radio stations, TV stations. It isn't between those guys. It isn't between the local Fox News station either. They realize now that they have to go find their voters, and the only place to find them, or the best place to find them, is on streaming services and streaming platforms. We have changed society so much that we have influenced normal, regular things like elections. Now, we all knew this with Facebook and the last couple presidential elections and all that fun stuff. What it means now is we're going to be harassed on any smart device by ads for crap that we don't want to necessarily see, but that's how we get a lot of the services we do for the price point we do, so I kind of understand it. Plus, it's also kind of reminds me of one of the things I've always thought was kind of hilarious about TV. I've always kind of liked ads, just because I like to see how they're trying to propagandize products to us. So, it's remarkable that in less than 2 years, we went from the occasional presidential ad to now seeing gubernatorial ads geolocated to where you are, so they're focused for their audience. Now, a lot of people will say VPN in, you won't be able to see that, or you'll see ads for other things. That's true to some extent. However, what they're doing is they're using the source IP address of all traffic. That's part of the metadata that they're trying to see when you send something on the internet. It comes through your internet service provider. That's part of what it has to do. Well, your internet service provider has an IP address, and that IP address is known by other internet service providers and so on and so forth, and servers know about those other routes. So the traffic can be traced. Doesn't matter what people think about VPNs. VPNs are great if you're trying to secure traffic for a very quick section of transactions. That's it. That's the best way to put it. Other than that, VPN traffic, while it will confuse the powers that be at some points, more often than not, they're going to intercept your traffic at your internet traffic at the very, very core level. We call this layer 2 or layer 3 in the networking parlance. So what's funny about that is everybody worries about this stuff, but the truth is the government, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it in that level. They're going to do it at the carrier level, and you're never going to get around the carrier. If you're that much on the watch list, you're going to be found out. That said, I think our federal government's been doing it for years now, since the Patriot Act, and there's not a hell of a lot you can do about it. I think it's the public-private partnership that scares me more, is that industries now are using that metadata that is surfing around on the packet headers that you're sending to know how to market to you and to kind of follow you and target that marketing additionally. Additionally, we know that one of the apps, one of the social media guys, is listening to us no matter what we do to turn off the mic. Case in point, how many times you ever been on Facebook or Twitter or some other place and you see an ad for something you just mentioned in conversation? Book It is a prime example. Tim Pool mentioned Book It on his podcast. I've seen ads now on Facebook. I've seen ads on Fox. I've seen ads on other places for a booking site for trips that is called Book It. Now, I think that's hilarious, but it shows how integrated technology has become to our lives. The way technology was explained to me at one of those World of Tomorrow events type things that technologists go to is they want the Internet of Things to serve you so much so that as you walk out of your house, you could start your car from your cell phone, or before you even walk out of your house. It's secure because it can't be locked. It's locked. It's alarmed. You've controlled all of that. You percolate your coffee from your phone. You arrange to go pick it up on your way to work. As your emails and alerts from work are coming in, you have a choice to either address them or not address them. If you choose to address them, you can. They're always wanting to say augmented reality, so one of the places they've always wanted to do is project what the interface would be so you can interact with it. Understand, today's compute power is so vast that the biggest downfall we have as technologists, or as technology is advancing, is the interface at which humans interface with. You need a keyboard and a mouse always to interface or to touch something, okay? Or a stylus or something like that. But you also need something to display it at the same time. And that's always the shortfall of something like a cell phone. The compute power is there. It's how do you interact with them if your fingers are too big like mine. That same type of technology, that same type of spooky thing that everybody's worried about, the Internet of Things and all that other stuff, that's been coming. The other part of this that's been coming is something called software-defined networking, and it's been around for 10 years easily. So software-defined networking allows you to have a work you, a private you, and no matter where you go, access will be granted to either company resources or your private resources based on your credentials and it just knowing how to move you in between those networks. So this all has to do with a lot of cloud stuff and routing. And all cloud really means, if nobody's ever explained that, is that the computer lives on someone else's network. So it's a server. Everybody that talks about a server is just a computer. It's just a beefed up computer. That's the best way to put a server. Servers have web applications. The applications that we connect to with our phone usually go through some routed traffic to get to those cloud servers to use some sort of resource on them, because our phones don't have enough compute power on them, but they will relay the information back and forth after the compute power on the cloud server does what it was supposed to do and relay that information to you. Anyway, long story short, it's interesting that YouTube's doing that crap. But what's more interesting is what else is going to happen. Imagine the next time you're at the mall, okay, and your favorite store gets a shirt in a color that you always get, in a size and a brand that you always like, and it just came in on the truck, but based on your past purchase history, your phone knows, the company knows, and the geolocation on your phone knows. When you walk past the store, a coupon pops up saying, hey, we have this in stock right now, and we have it for 10% off today. That is what they want. What I mean by that is every company on planet Earth wants that data. That's why everybody's data is so expensive when it gets hacked. It's because that data relates exactly to market share, which tells people where to put their money so that they can start focusing their marketing more directly at the end user who's going to consume their product, and not waste it on some other place that they're not going to get a return on investment for that. So it's interesting that YouTube's doing that just for something like that. That's also why you're seeing more local restaurants for your area. Those IP addresses I mentioned before are all regional, so they kind of know where you are. Your ISP is always known where you are. So this may scare the hell out of you, thinking that you're just a guinea pig in a giant rat and a giant lab. You probably are. We probably have been for years. But in the IT space, the idea was always try to help you understand. Most of us technologist guys are very, how do I put it? Libertarian is the best way I could put it. We really do believe in free speech. The only time we moderate free speech, and I say this for places that aren't woke or the places that aren't political. If the organization becomes political, then they weaponize it. Those of us that aren't political, when it comes to this, I want both sides to be able to use the technology I help integrate. I do stuff, what I do is directly helps kids. So I make technology work for kids and adults so that they can interact and do what they need to do to hopefully learn something and help humanity. That's my big contribution to the world, I hope. Other than my kids. Like, share, subscribe, be great.